what has been the point of my work in making Buddhist Islamic dialogue? Originally, in the 90s, I was looking at the situation in Central Asia, and I saw that there was primarily an Islamic civilization, a Buddhist civilization, and also Christian civilization. And there's been a lot of work in terms of Christian-Buddhist relations, but hardly anything in terms of Buddhism and Islam. And I was thinking in terms of geopolitical considerations that the Buddhists and Muslims need to somehow work together in order to live in harmony in this area. So that was my original consideration, and thinking in terms of how the history between Buddhism and Islam has been presented traditionally. I saw that the emphasis was very, very much on how the Muslim conquerors in India destroyed everything and so on. And I thought that this was really a very one-sided way of looking at it. So I did a great deal of research and traveled in the Middle East and in Central Asia, trying to understand really what were the economic considerations, what were the political considerations, and so on. And as it turns out, in any sort of historical analysis, you see that the main motivation behind any sort of conquest is political and economic. So this started my interest. And then as time evolved, then various terrorist things started happening and so on, and the Muslims became more and more demonized. And this, I thought, was extremely unfortunate. So I started further dialogue with the Muslim, various leaders in the Islamic community. His Holiness the Dalai Lama was very interested in this. With my website, he encouraged me very much to make the Buddhist teachings available in Islamic languages, because not that we want to convert anybody to Buddhism. This is especially something that you don't want to do in the Muslim community. However, his point, which I understood very well, was that the cause of most misunderstanding was lack of information. And as I traveled around in various Islamic countries, this was the main feeling that I had. I lectured on Introduction to Buddhism at Cairo University, and 300 students came. And they kept on telling me, we're so isolated in terms of lack of information. We want to know what's going on. And so this was the idea, was to make the information known about Buddhism in the Islamic world, and also to make information about Islam known in the Buddhist circles, because the source of conflict is usually misunderstanding and lack of information. So this is something that I've been very much involved with, and I found that it has been very positive, very rewarding, that there is a great deal in common in terms of the emphasis on development of love, the development of service and help for others, and so on. The motivation behind it, or the philosophical view behind it, may be different, but the effect is very much the same.